Wah, wah, wah. It's Clone Wars. Pardon me. I mean, the Mandalorian Day. It's the day the Mandalorian releases, which is Friday every week. Hey everyone, this is Ben, your KSGeekMan, ginormous Star Wars fan, a guy blessed enough to be able to live out a small dream drawing Topps trading cards for Star Wars and more. I'm here to talk about the latest addition to Star Wars lore. So this week we are given a hyper fan service laced Chapter 5 called The Gunslinger, directed by the fedora-wearing fanboy living his best life, Dave Filoni. In April, I shared on Instagram my experience at the Mandalorian panel. I've mentioned this in a prior video. But the first thing I said coming out of that was that I believe the hope and future of this franchise should be handled by Filoni and Favreau because they understood the heart of Star Wars, the ability to connect with its hardcore fan base, and the promise of fan service. And this is the first episode we've consumed that has not been written by Jon Favreau, but written by Dave. And his fingerprints are all over this. And I still stand by that. I do believe that these guys get it. They understand the heartbeat of this franchise, and they understand how to connect with fans. For those that don't know or remember, Dave was incredibly passionate about the now defunct expanded universe currently labeled Legends when Disney made the purchase. And if you maybe consumed any EU stuff from back in the day, like from say 1991 to 2013, you experienced quite a bit of that all too familiar dialogue, nods to the movies and whatnot. Things like, I've got a bad feeling about this, or here's where the fun begins, or he's no good to me dead. These nods were used quite a bit in the Clone Wars as well. And while I love that show, I think it's a fantastic show, and I always tell people to watch it. There were some eye roll moments during those seasons when I'd hear a new character use these same lines, but I didn't really have a problem with it. I mean, I rolled my eyes a little, but I never had an issue with it. Kind of felt like it was necessary, and it was good. You know, it was campy, it was TV. In fact, I expect familiarity like that, but sometimes I prefer familiarity to copying and pasting. So, sometimes it was good. Sometimes I was like, ugh, can you say something different? But that leads me to this chapter of The Mandalorian. If I were to sum this episode up in one word, and maybe that's what I should do. I should do just a one-word statement, a one-word describing individual episodes. Here's the one word for this one, for Chapter 5. Fan-servalicious. I know that's not a real word. I made it up. But fan-servalicious, the return to Tatooine kicked that whole thing off when we saw that familiar horizon when he approaches the planet with those two moons in the background. Okay, so this episode wasn't bad for me, but again, wasn't great. It was kind of along the lines of Chapter 4 for me as far as enjoyment. Here are my quick bullet points. I'm just going to go through some quick things sitting in my car in the Target parking lot. So I'm gonna rattle these off here. So here are some things. I noted acting. There were moments, honestly, I was taken out of the story because it felt a little bit out of place. And it really honestly started with, if I think back, I think it started back with the opening sequence as he's being chased by the bounty hunter. The other bounty hunter, it just felt a little weird. I can't quite put my finger on it. I just noted that it felt weird, and I need to give it a second watch. In that campy moment where he says, after he pulls a trick and pulls the indoor speeder bike trick, puts it in reverse, and then it ends up behind him and destroys him, and he says, "That's my line." It was a little campy. I know, here's the deal. I know 9-year-old me would have been fist pumping that statement. So, I don't know. I give it a little bit of a pass for that. So, then there's the docking bay attendant. Let's just say it felt to me like someone they called over from one of the Disney TV show in the studio next door. Like maybe someone couldn't show up to work, so they had somebody fill in. One of the moms or grandmothers filled in, or aunts, filled in for somebody. I mean, I endured many years of Hannah Montana and Zach and Cody raising 3 girls in the 2000s, so I'm very familiar with the Disney acting. That's what it felt like. Filler episodes. One of the knocks that the Clone Wars would get were those weeks that felt unnecessary. There was always something to take away, but just not anything that was worth spending 30 minutes on because it didn't carry the larger story forward. And this felt like that. It felt a little bit to me like a filler episode to just lay out some fan service, and to maybe give us, I guess the positives is it just gave us a little bit more understanding and visual to the state of the galaxy post Empire, and post Jabba. I still don't know what the impact of losing Jabba was to Tatooine. That would have been interesting if they could have unpacked that a little bit, but we didn't get that. Maybe we'll get it in something in the future. Who knows? Tusken Raiders. Anyone remember those old Spike? Here's what I thought. Anybody remember those old Spike TV commercials from 2008? If you haven't ever seen those, look them up on YouTube. Look up Spike TV Star Wars commercials and check out the Sand People one. This one felt a lot like that. And if you go watch it, you'll know what I mean. I don't know that we've ever seen Sand People get that close to other people without attacking first. This felt off. It felt like it almost kind of, to me, hurt their mystique a little bit, but I don't know. That's how it felt to me. Here's a big positive. I thought that the Fennec Shan, I don't know how to pronounce that, character portrayed by Ming-Na Wen, she was great. I thought it was a great character, great actress. I love, if you guys don't know, she actually was Mulan's voice in 1998's Mulan, which is one of my favorite Disney movies. I was sad to see her bite the blaster bolt. I thought that could have been a cool carry forward, but I also thought that turn of events was actually quite good, the way that went down. So here's a question. I need help. Someone please explain to me the key fobs, these fobs, whatever. I was wrong about them in one of the reviews I did, I think on the second episode. I thought it was specific to that Baby Yoda, but I missed the opening sequence in just chapter 1. And I don't understand how these things work, and I don't understand. Did they really break? Have they broken lore, or are they introducing something to us and they're just not taking the time yet to explain it? I hope they do, or am I missing it? Maybe I missed it again. I don't know. If anybody knows or can point me in a direction to figure that stuff out, I'd appreciate it, because it just doesn't make sense to me. I am glad they put the pit droids were used, and the cantina is run by droids now. I thought that was interesting. I don't know. It seemed a little off to me. It seemed a little weird. Maybe it's because, did they do that because Jabba's gone now, or did they do that? Maybe they did that more because they wanted the Mandalorian to have to face a droid because he doesn't like them. They keep bringing this up, and I think it's an issue that it's obvious and apparent that he has something against droids, probably because of the Clone Wars and how they probably killed his family. I'd like to see them continue to unpack that. I feel like it's been a couple episodes since we've seen that addressed or seen any flashbacks or anything like that. Let's see. Final scene. At the end of the show, the episode, we see a cut to the dead body of Fennec Shan, and we see somebody reach down to pick something up, but they don't reveal who it is. I'm guessing that it's the Carl Weathers character. I could be wrong, but that's my guess. Now, here's what they should do. If they really want to give us some awesome fan service, and Dave Filoni, I know you're not listening, but if anybody who has his ear hears this, we want Cad Bane. I want to see Cad Bane. That would be awesome. I don't know how he ages. I know he'd be old, but hey, he's an alien. He could, if a baby Yoda can be 5 years old or however old this baby is and be 50, I think you can do something with Cad Bane. I think he'd be a great addition to this universe here. Anyway, overall, a fine episode, but wasn't very memorable to me. In fact, I need to rewatch because I've already forgotten what happened in 40% of it, which I know makes for a great review. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. I'd love to hear your comments. Love to hear your feedback. I think I got everything. This episode, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier. I don't remember. This was written by Dave Filoni. So that is pretty cool. It's cool to see Dave stepping up into the live action and doing more. I think this is a beginning stepping stone for him. I'd like to see more, and I hope he deserves it. I hope that he continues to direct more episodes. I hope he goes into season 2 doing the same and writing episodes. I think he can only get better, and I mean, fans love him. I love him. I think he's a great ambassador to hardcore fans like myself. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. Thanks so much. Have a great weekend. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please take a moment and give it a thumbs up, and maybe consider following the Kansas Geek Man channel. You can also find me on Instagram and Twitter over at KSGeekMan.